And here we are. This is an interview I have been really looking forward to, and I know you are going to get an immense amount of value out of this one as well. So please get ready for an inspiring conversation with Sir Darren Jacklin, a man who embodies achievement and philanthropy. For over 25 years, he's trained executives from 157 Fortune 500 companies, traveled to over 50 countries, and inspired over 1 million people through his speaking. He's even run the Nasdaq closing bell 3 times. Sir Darren's dedication to global charities and change shines through his International Link Foundation, which we will get into today, aiming to raise $100 million for philanthropy. And as the first independent board member of EXP World Holdings, he is a leader in real estate and beyond. Welcome, Sir Darren Jacklin.
Hey, Dan, I'm grateful to be here.
Really appreciate your time today and would love just to dive right into these questions we've got for you today.
Sure. I'm totally transparent. Go ahead. Absolutely.
Perfect. So you are known for your international book titled Until I Become, talking about human beings. All we are is a network of conversations. What does this mean for everyone that is listening into this episode today?
Yeah, great question. So when I was a young kid, in my neighborhood growing up in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Canada, I started my first company at age 7 called Rent-A-Kid. And I would go out and cut grass, shovel snow, deliver newspapers. And I learned at a very young age, knocking on a lot of doors in different neighborhoods, that as human beings, all we are is a network of conversations. And opportunities live inside of conversations. And so when I'm talking to salespeople or real estate professionals, and they're out there, doing open houses and trade shows, attending seminars and workshops, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm just not getting lead generation here. Key thing is, are you talking to the right qualified people or right qualified target audience? But also, are you having a network of conversations? Are you listening, asking questions? And so all we are is a network of conversations. And I always play these games where I'm always out there. So whatever project I'm working on, or if I'm acquiring a company or raising capital or whatever I'm doing, building another school through Link Foundation or putting on another Take a Hike, Build a School event, I keep a 3-step metric system. Number one is, what is my promise? So for example, I have a promise, right? And then what's my actual, and then what's my gap? And then every day I look at that 3-metric system. Here's my promise. I promise to have, let's example, 200 people registered for an upcoming fundraising hike. So my promise is 200 people. What's my actual numbers? How many people have actually signed up and registered? And then what's my gap? So I'm always playing these games to serve humanity. And I invite people when they're looking to, close more deals, make more money, grow and expand their business, to start playing games and then look at networks of conversations with people. How many conversations can I have on an airplane, in a grocery store, in a shopping mall, on the internet, on a social media page, and just start playing games of having a network of conversations, but also make it relational versus transactional. A lot of times on social media, there's a lot of fake people on there, and a lot of people are just transactional versus being relational, where people get to know you and like you and trust you. So it's important that you build that relationship equity, as I call it. So as you build relationship equity, people want to connect with you and they want to have a long-term relationship with you.
Brilliant. So you mentioned opportunities live inside of conversations a few times there. And I think what I'm hearing is ultimately there's a bit of power in numbers, just putting yourself out there, but also a bit of being in the room, right? You can't have the conversation unless you're in the room. Am I kind of right in line there, or how else can you expand sort of on that phrase?
Well, we hear all the time, money's a typical conversation around the planet, right? Money's a universal conversation. People always say, I don't have enough money. Well, the thing is, there's 2 types of people who have money. There's people who don't have enough money, people who have a lot of money. So you want to get into the rooms with people with a lot of money. You don't have to go out and make any money. You don't have to make any money in your life. You have to get around the right people who already made money and find a way to collect it, right? You see, wealthy people don't make money. Wealthy people don't earn money. They set up businesses and assets, income-producing assets that collect money. I have a portfolio of companies through the Darren Jacklin Group of companies. I'm in, bookkeeping, accounting, tax planning. I'm in salad dressing. I'm in the barbecue industry. I'm in a lot of real estate and various different asset classes of real estate. So I have a whole diversified portfolio of businesses, but I'm collecting money every month called MRR, monthly recurring revenue. So the key thing is to have multiple revenue streams, but also have monthly recurring revenue. So when you do something once, so I always tell my real estate friends who are selling real estate, listen, go out and get the big commission, go out and score and make a big commission. Now take that money and put it into an income producing asset that starts to produce dividends or monthly or residual income for you. So now you start putting all your eggs out there in different baskets, but now you got multiple different revenue streams coming in. And that creates diversification, but also creates risk management as well. So you decrease the risk of not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, and we see that all the time within real estate. It's a great income earning
Yeah.
industry, but ultimately it's pretty much a hamster wheel. And yeah, sure, maybe that hamster wheel is golden, but at the end of the day, there's not enough people in the mindset of saying, "Look, I actually have to plan for my retirement. I have to put
Mhm.
this great income I'm earning into other assets and into other companies that are generating, like you said, that monthly recurring revenue." Because ultimately, life happens, and all of a sudden, if you have to get off that hamster wheel for unforeseen circumstances, well, hopefully that income doesn't stop because you stopped, right? It's so important. Yeah, thank you for that. It got me inspired already. So there's another question we have here. There's something that says we don't have money problems in life, only thinking problems. What does that mean exactly?
So growing up, I'll use myself as an example. I struggled up and down financially. I lived paycheck to paycheck for a period of time. I lived panic to panic for a number of years in my life, in my
Mm.
20s and my 30s. I wasn't even paycheck to paycheck. I was panic to panic. I'd solve that panic and then be in another panic in the same day or in the same hour in the same week. And so we don't have money problems in life. We don't have thinking problems in life. There's no lack of financial money in this world. In fact, there's two types of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. I have a friend of mine that's in debt for over $1 billion. In fact, several billions of dollars, and he laughs all the time. So if debt is making you money, it's good debt. If debt is costing you money, it's bad debt. So the same thing is we don't have money problems in life. We don't have thinking problems in life. There's no lack of money. I meet many people when I guest speak at events around the world that are doing startup opportunities, and they're Darren, it's so hard to raise money. Well, you're not in the right room. You're not having the right conversations with the right people. Because when you get around the right check writers, which are in my networks
Mm.
of friends, for example, around the world, these people have so much financial abundance through multiple different active and passive recurring revenue streams coming in every month that they're looking for asset allocation of where do I put that money every month. They got to move that money because there's so much abundance of cash flow coming in every month that they're going to have it. They have what we call a revenue manager. And the revenue manager is full part-time, in-person or virtual person. All they do is manage your multiple revenue streams. So I always say you got to start hanging out with different people who've got an abundance of financial coming in because we don't have money problems in life, only thinking problems. And most people don't take the time to think because money is everywhere. Right? You and I, Dan, we could go to the Vancouver International Airport and fly off to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, pick any country on planet Earth, even if they don't even speak the language. And within 24 hours, you and I will be collecting money. Because the first thing I'm going to do is when I land in that country and I clear immigration and customs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out where does money hang out? Where's the
Mm.
international hotel? Where's the international business center? Where is money being collected and where is money changing hands in that city, that village, that country, that countryside? Where is it? Even out in the ocean, where are all the yachts hanging out in the ocean? Where are all the yachts and the super yachts
Mhm.
hanging out in the ocean? Are they in Monaco? Are they in France? Where are they? Let's go hang out where they are because that's where the money is. Let's go to the yacht clubs. Let's go to the charity events. Let's go out on the hiking trails. I tell people all the time, come on hike with me. Why? Because millions of dollars of money changes hands on hiking trails. We're like, what? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've done many multi-million-dollar deals out on hiking trails on an 8-hour hike.
Mm.
Several over the last few years. Several where money's changed hands, paperwork's got done, and deals have got done to the finish line. And just people's like, wow, I never thought about that. Yeah, because you're not traveling the different right circles.
Yeah, sounds like hiking trails may be the new golf clubs.
Well, it is, and
Country
there's a lot
clubs.
of there is, and there's a lot of things. If you want to delve into the benefits of that, I can really give you a comparison between golfing and pickleball and tennis and racquetball in terms of
Mm.
hiking, not only the benefits, but also chemically and scientifically what it does for the human body, of how you bond together in terms of building rapport and also producing results, and how your money in your bank accounts change because of hiking versus playing golf.
Wow, interesting. I think too. So the comment there about having we don't have money problems, we've got thinking problems. Taking it potentially another step further, I mean, I'm sure people can also have thinking problems in the sense that they're not thinking big enough. Have you had
Absolutely.
experience with that? And what would you share with the listeners here today about not thinking big enough and how that can intrude, your life potential?
So if we live in a community and we're always attending the Chamber of Commerce, the Women in Business, the Rotary Clubs, the Lions Clubs, these are all great organizations and service organizations. We're going to the trade shows, going to the workshops, going to the seminars. But if you're going to these environments, like if you're going to the same church all the time and you're always uncomfortable, then I invite you as an invitation to consider auditing that and reevaluate and say, maybe I need to put myself into an environment that I'm not so comfortable. If you're going to a fitness center or a gym or a Pilates or a yoga class and you're always comfortable, you're not growing and expanding yourself.
That's right.
So the key thing is to always put yourself into environments. I'm always playing impossible goals. I'll give you an example. 18 months ago, I had a friend call me up. He says, hey, I want you to come and I want you to train 1 year and come over to East Africa with me to Tanzania. And we're going to summit Mount Kilimanjaro, one of the big 7 summits on the planet. And it's 19,340 feet. And I said to Aaron, I said, listen, Aaron, why would you waste your time and energy even calling me with this invitation? I appreciate it, but what a waste of time. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I am not an athlete. Why would you even pick me out of your whole network of people on your cell phone to even entertain the thought of calling me, to actually have me go over to Mount Kilimanjaro with me? Like, that's crazy, because I didn't have the values or the beliefs to even identify that. My thinking was I'd go on local hiking trails, but to go climb 19,340 feet in elevation and take oxygen with me just in case, you gotta be freaking crazy. Well, guess what? To me, that was an impossible goal, Dan. An impossible goal. It's like, Dan, it's like me saying, hey, you and I are going to go to Texas. We're going to go to Calgary, Canada. And we're going to ride bulls in a stampede or in a rodeo. Right? It doesn't make any sense. So I achieved in July of 2023, I achieved summiting Mount and Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, East Africa. I achieved it.
Wow.
And so now I set these different impossible goals. And when I set impossible goals, whether they're financial goals or health goals, relationship goals, I hear on other different people who are playing life at a much higher level. Like Tatiana, we've committed $100 million over the next 10 years towards global philanthropy. And we realize it gets smaller and smaller and smaller people's thinking. But now we're meeting people around the world, Dan, that are giving away $100 million a year through foundations. So here we're thinking a 10-year goal of $100 million. We're now meeting people who are doing it in 12 months, 365 days or less.
Yeah, really goes to show, right? If you don't set the bar, you're never going to hit it regardless, right?
For
You
sure.
need to have that goalpost moved and moved often to really show how much you truly are capable of. Excellent. Now, another one that we kind of pulled out here that's super interesting to me that I'd love to hear more about. Whatever you lack in skill, you make up in numbers. Can you expand on that and tell us what that really means to you?
So when I was a young boy, I was very insecure and had childhood trauma, and I was terrified of young girls. I was from grade 1 to grade 12. I was in special education my whole entire life, and I never went to regular public school in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. So when I was a young boy growing up, my hormones were changing, I wanted to meet girls. What I used to do is I used to take 10 Canadian pennies and put them in my left pocket secretly. Then every time I'd say good morning, good afternoon, hello, hi, how are you? I talk about this in my book, Until I Become. I would then transfer one of my Canadian pennies to my right pocket. And then when I started knocking on doors, building my rent-a-kid business, right, for odd jobs, cleaning swimming pools, cutting grass, shoveling sidewalks, whenever I was going to sign up people to get a new start, to get a new client or a new account, I would then secretly pass the pennies from my left pocket to my right pocket. So whatever we lack in skill, we make it up in numbers. So whatever you're not good at, I used to be the #1 telemarketer in Canada for Maclean's magazine many years ago, back in the 1990s. And I used to make 400 cold calls a day, 2,000 cold calls a week, crawling across Canada between 5 and 9 p.m., which I called home intrusion hours, selling magazine subscriptions. And I sucked at it. I was not good. I was insecure. I was shy. I fumbled my words. I used to talk in front of a mirror. But what I did was, the more I practiced it and the more telephone calls I made, whatever I lack in skill, I made it up in numbers. So I just increased my volume and made a lot more telephone calls, got a lot more rejection, and got a lot more results.
Incredible. Yeah, I think Alex Hormozi discusses that as well. And he basically just says, like volume and consistency trumps skill every time. You can outwork skill in a sense. And of course, you adapt it and create it along the way as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I'm more curious too, and I think a lot of people on this show that are watching are going to want to know more about cash flowing opportunities and how to kind of transform obstacles into cash flowing opportunities. Like, how do you recognize them, and how do you take steps to improve your financial health?
Great question. So, as human beings, if you look at the last 7 days of our lives, right, just take a look at our own 7 days, last week. We're either coming from a problem, we're in a problem, or heading towards a problem. And so when we solve problems, money changes hands. So what we want to look at is turning crises into opportunities. Most people are in a crisis or a panic. Like I said earlier, I used to live panic to panic. 78% of the North American population live paycheck to paycheck,
Hmm.
78%.
Yeah.
So the key thing is there's this vicious cycle of always having crises. There's always some kind of $400 emergency coming up in most people's lives all the time, right? Flat tire, car breaks down, furnace breaks down, somebody throws a rock through the window in the neighborhood, whatever. Something's always going on. And so the key thing is that what we want to look at is solving problems. When I was a young boy with my rent-a-kid business, I went and knocked on doors in my community, my neighborhood, and I served people's problems because successful people spend money to save time. Successful people spend money to save time,
Mm.
and unsuccessful people waste time to save money. So what we want to look at is get around people who've got the financial success, who are looking to delegate things and solve problems to free up their life. So the key thing is that there's never a shortage of money. There's only a confusion of priorities. And so when it
Mm.
comes to cash flow
Okay.
producing opportunities, the average millionaire in North America has 7 income streams. The average
Yeah.
millionaire has 7 income streams in the United States and Canada. So they don't put all their eggs in one basket. They have multiple revenue streams. So the key thing is we want to start to see obstacles as opportunities. And we shift our mindset to saying, oh, wow, how can I get paid? So years ago, Dan, I wanted to travel around the world. And I thought, well, okay, two objections, time and money. I don't have enough time and I don't have enough money. Two objections. Okay, I thought, okay, so how can I have more time and how can I have more money and travel the world and do what I love and love what I do? So what I used to say is a daily affirmation several times a day is I get paid handsomely to travel the world and do what I love and love what I do. And so I built a corporate training business with no formal education. I barely passed public high school. And I went and trained a lot of people who had MBAs and PhDs from some of the biggest universities and colleges in the world, but also worked in the biggest businesses and corporations in the world. And when I started doing corporate training many years ago, I got paid $200 a day up to being
Mm.
paid $40,000 a day plus first class travel expenses. But I
Nice.
started and it was a ladder and it took many years and a lot of training and development because success is not something we go out in the world to pursue. Success is something we attract into our lives by the person that we become. So the key thing is
Hmm.
internally always be training and developing ourselves, always be working on ourselves. And so whenever I'm out in public, I'm always looking for opportunity zones. Whenever I'll give you an example. Recently, I was on Facebook and I saw somebody on Facebook who just gave notice with a big corporation. They work in the financial department and they gave notice and they publicly declared it on their Facebook channel. I thought, wow. So I put a private message to this person. We're Facebook friends. And I said, hey, could we jump on a phone call?
Mm.
So a
Yeah.
few days later, we jump on a phone call. I said, hey, what's next steps for you? Where do you plan to go? And they go, well, I'm going to take some time out with the family, maybe do a little bit of traveling, but I'm open to some opportunities in a couple months. I said, look, if I was open to making some introductions for you, would you pay me a referral fee? Right? I want 10 points, 10%. We'll get, and I
Right.
sent him so I used Chat GTP on my phone, got a 1-page legal agreement done up, sent it off to him by email. And that 2 hours of work paid me $40,000. I ended up getting them hired to a company, paid me $40,000 for 2 hours
Mm.
of the work. And I've done that many different times and things. So I can do something in a couple hours that some people takes a whole year to make money. So it's not
Right.
hard to make money. You just have to, you're thinking. Now, if you're not good at the thinking, start changing your associations online or offline of people that you're around to start saying, wow, because what I'm really good at is multiplying money. You give me $1, I'll turn it into $100 in a very short period of time. Part of that comes from childhood trauma. When I was young, I was flat broke a few different times, lived on the streets, I was on welfare. So I come from lack and scarcity. I've also come from a lot of stress and sleepless nights in my lifetime. But I love making a lot of money because my success is someone else's miracle. So I'm all about
Mm.
making millions of dollars a year because the more money I can make a year, the more I can serve with humanitarian and philanthropy and solve problems and serve the people because my success is someone else's miracle. So I'm all about people making a lot of money, having a lot of fun, and also making a big difference in the world.
Incredible. I love it. I'm almost got the hairs standing up on my arms here. You're so inspiring. So, as a real estate agent with EXP, I was very intrigued to discover that you were the first independent board member of EXP World Holdings. Can you share a bit of what that journey was like? Because I think you saw
Yeah,
that
really
company
interesting.
from
Yeah.
almost early inception to the behemoth it is today. And of course, love to hear more about the people that you were in
Yeah.
the room with
Yeah.
during that as
Well,
well.
EXP Realty started in Bellingham, Washington, USA in the year 2009 as a residential real estate startup company, no physical bricks and mortar. But as we know, in 2010, 2011, 2012, we know what happened with the global markets during that time. So in 2011, I was flying from San Francisco to New York City on United Airlines one day, and I journal every day of my life. I've got over 7,000 written documented goals for my life. So you talk about playing big games and stretch our comfort zone. I have over 7,000 written goals. And people, when they read my book, I explain about having lots of goals, but I also explain something until I become that most of my goals and dreams do not require my actions. Most of my goals and dreams do not require my actions. It's about creating teams and teamworks of people. So what I've done in my life is in 2011, I wrote down that I wanted to get onto paid advisory boards and paid boards of directors of public and private companies internationally. This is in 2011. And in 2013, I received a telephone call. So 2 years later, I received a telephone call from a very successful family here in Canada, an ultra high net worth family. They said, hey, we're in the early stages of discovery process with this residential real estate company called EXP Realty that no one's ever heard about. Would you fly back from Vancouver to Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada at your own financial expense to be part of our due diligence team? So I'm like, heck yeah. So I booked my flight. I travel back. I spend 7 months of my life volunteering my time. Now, some of my friends are concerned about me saying, Darren, wait a second here. You're around an ultra high net worth family and you're volunteering your time to do the discovery and the due diligence for this business opportunity that they're going to financially profit from if they invest into it. Why don't you get paid? Why don't they cover your financial travel expenses? I'm like, and I'm not thinking about that. Two things I'm looking at. Number one is I want a seat at the table around an ultra high net worth family. I want to be sitting in their inner circle and I want to seat at the table. Number one. Number two is, as I said earlier, all we are is a network of conversations. Well, opportunities live inside of conversations. Listen, if you hang around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut, right? You hang around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. If you hang up around enough wealthy people long enough, you're going to make your first $1 million. Okay. Proximity is power. So I just knew if I hung around long enough, I'm going to make my first $1 million. And I did a long time ago. And the thing was in my life was I started to volunteer my time back and forth, a lot of collaboration, a lot of conversation, a lot of reporting. They came back and said, hey, we're going to pull the trigger. We're going to invest. We've cleared our discovery process and due diligence. We want you to be close to our financial investment. So would you consider being the first independent board of directors member of EXP? And one condition, we can't pay you, but we'll give you some stock or equity in the opportunity. Nice. And so I had people laughing. They said, Darren, those certificates, those stock certificates aren't going to be worth the paper they're written on. So good luck. Wish you all the best. And I had many people laugh at me and criticize me and do interventions in 2013, 2014, 2015. And then in 2018, we took this little residential real estate kid called EXP Realty to Nasdaq in New York City and did over $1 billion market cap on our first day of trading. And today I serve 10 years as the first independent board of directors member. There's now over 86,000 agents in 24 countries on 5 continents now. And it became the fastest growing residential real estate company in history. It disrupted and changed the residential real estate industry. And now there's a lot of competitors in the space. But EXP Realty was just like, we got rid of the Blockbuster video and became the next Netflix of real estate. And so, I'm very grateful to enrich a lot of people's lives as a team member. Got a chance to do a lot of great things with the company, but I got a chance to go from startup to 86,000 licensed agents with that company. It was an incredible ride over a 10-year period. And I'm just blessed with gratitude that I got a chance to make a difference in a lot of people's lives, enrich a lot of people's lives. And so from that, it's opened up a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities around the world for me, which I'm grateful for.
Amazing. That sounds incredible. I mean, Glenn Sanford is quite the icon and quite the visionary. Yeah, true story. He really is. So you're at a point now where you've had a lot of experience, a lot of success, a lot of opportunities in your life. And I guess if you could share one more thing or almost look at it in hindsight, what would you have told your 15-year-old self to kind of, I don't know, maybe almost fast track or just the best piece of advice you could have given yourself then to propel your life forward?
To stop lying to myself. That was the biggest turning point in my life, was to stop. I lied about everything when I was younger because I was so afraid. I lied about my health. I exaggerate things, I embellish things. And my biggest thing now, because I'm in my 50s, I look back on my life and what was the biggest turning point in my life was to confront myself on lying to myself. You mentioned earlier about playing small. I lied about myself about playing small. I lied about myself. Well, I should go to the gym, but I'm not an athlete. I should start paying myself first because I read the book back in the 1990s by David Chilton called The Wealthy Barber. I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Lied to myself. So what I realized is I started to become consciously awake and aware because I was totally unconscious as a blind spot of how much I actually lied to myself. And when I actually got present to how much as a human being I lied to myself, everything changed in my life over a period of time. That was the major turning point in my life, was to confront myself on how much BS I make up in my head and how many stories I tell myself about lying to myself. That was a huge wake up call and turning point in my life. Because I lied to myself, oh my gosh, how am I going to become financially independent? Oh my gosh, I don't have an MBA. I don't have a university or college degree. Lie to myself. So I'd make up all these stories out of fear and doubt and worry and insecurity in my life, right? And I had so much lack and scarcity running through my life. I didn't have any abundance and prosperity. And I didn't have that self-confidence belief. And so I'd lie to myself. And I would hide out and I'd play very small in my life. And that's what I'd tell my younger self, was stop lying to yourself. And I invite people that are listening to this podcast or watching, just pump the brakes in your life, slow down, go for a walk, and just look at where are you lying to yourself in your relationships, your health, your fitness, your nutrition, your spirituality, your friendships, your finances. Just take inventory and look at, and most people, when I share this with them, they realize that they lie a lot all the time. Both. They're like, I lied about my weight. Okay. I love fast food. I'm addicted to sugar. Okay. My relationships. Oh, just like my parents growing up, right? Monkey see, monkey do. Human beings aren't too far behind, right? So modeling that. So then realizing, no, I don't want to have that relationship. I'm going to draw a line in the sand, set new boundaries, set new terms for myself. And I want to have an extraordinary quality relationship with Tatiana. So that was a big thing, was stop lying to myself.
That's incredible. Very, very powerful. And thank you for sharing that. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people, myself included. So one more thing that I'd love for you to share with the audience here is you have a hike coming up, and
I do, yeah.
you're raising some more funds. I'm sure people would love to hear about this because it's a very interesting angle, and hey,
Yeah.
maybe we can get some people to sign up as well.
Well, it's interesting. So hiking has transformed my life by results. Like I was 45 pounds heavier. I was labeled statistically obese. I was a sugar addict. I was a fast food addict, eating a lot of fast food. And so I started hiking in around the Vancouver area, started documenting on my social media channels. And then people started saying, hey, can I come out hiking with you? And I got momentum and consistency going and frequency going to where now we're doing, through what we call E2E, Elevate to Educate. We have a website, hikingfundraiser.com, that people go to and they register. But what we do now is, one of the things that I found in terms of networking, especially a lot of real estate agents, mortgage brokers, financial service people that may be unemployed looking to transition to something else, people that are single and want to date, they don't want to be online because they don't trust the dating apps or the dating websites of finding different fake profiles. Well, a great way is to meet people out in nature. Okay. A great way to get people to know you and like you and trust you and do business with you personally is out in nature. Number one is we have a big problem around the world with mental health. We all know somebody in our networks of people, our immediate family, our neighborhoods that are dealing with issues around mental health, whether it's substance abuse, it's self-confidence, it's belief in themselves. People deal with mental health. So with Link Foundation, one of the things that I took in 2022, I got knighted by the royal family through Spain, called the Royal Order of Cappadocia. And when I took my oath as one of only 2 Canadians to actually be knighted out of 40 million people, and out of 24 people for planet Earth, there was only 24 people that were knighted in the world, 15 men and 9 women. When I took my oath, I gave my oath, number one was I wanted to take on being an advocate and a spokesperson for mental health, because in my early days growing up, I struggled with mental health myself. And I did multiple suicide attempts to end my life because I had no direction, I had no focus, I had no purpose, and I was really scared in life. I was really, really scared of myself, scared of other people. And I just wanted to end my life because I had a lot of trauma and I was in a lot of pain. So mental health is a big thing. Number two was I realized that when we go golfing or play pickleball or tennis, people have egos. They have image. They want to look good. They don't want to look bad. If you have a good time, there's lots of laughter. Sometimes there's food or beverage or drinks around, but you don't have that authenticity, that vulnerability, that deep, authentic, connected, trusted relationships with people. And to me, it's about my tribe and my vibe. And so we created something called Take a Hike, Build a School. Take a Hike and Build a School at hikingfundraiser.com. So we've committed through Link Foundation to building 100 schools around the world to help bring in clean drinking water, provide food security and access to education around the world. And so people come out now for a full day event at hikingfundraiser.com. They sign up, they register. They meet people from all over the world that come in. We have CEOs, we have executives, we have high net worth, ultra high net worth. Sometimes we have royalty come in, and I invite royalty to come in. We have different celebrities come in. And so our next big hike we're doing is on Saturday, June 29th in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada at Mount Seymour. We're going to raise $100,000 that weekend. That $100,000 is going to get allocated through Link Foundation to build schools now in Central America in the country of Honduras. And then what happens is as we start to unfold and build these schools, we document everything step by step on our social media channels. And then we also create humanitarian trips so people can come down. And it's a great networking opportunity to really build connected relationships at a deep level with people. And you get a chance to come down on these humanitarian trips with Link Foundation, Elevate to Educate, and meet some extraordinary people. So all the detailed information is at hikingfundraiser.com. You'll learn more about Elevate to Educate, taking a hike and building a school. You'll also learn a lot more about Link Foundation, what our mission and vision is at hikingfundraiser.com. So no matter where you live geographically, you're probably not the furthest person coming in. There's probably somebody getting on a plane much further than you, miles away further than you. So I invite you, no matter where you are in the world, listen to this, just book it. Be a yes for yourself, because proximity is power. I always say to people, this one day can change your life. And I mean change your life, because you don't know who's going to show up and who you're going to have trail talk with through a network of conversations. You don't know, that one person you meet at that event might fund your opportunities. They might be your business partner, joint venture partner. They might be the love of your life, your soulmate. You have no idea. All I share with people is trust the process. And I've seen lots of evidence over the years of doing this, of how it works, of the results and the case studies of what's happened in people's lives. So go to hikingfundraiser.com, check it out, and share it with your friends and family. And if you want, build a team and come as a team. And let's hit the $100,000 target. Let's build some more schools and make a difference. And let's help people with their mental health.
Incredible concept. Fantastic. Yeah. Really, really, really cool. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Excuse me. And thank you for your time today. So outside of the hiking, how can people find your book and more information about you?
Yeah, great question. This is the book here, Until I Become. They can order it online through Amazon or through the online bookstores or untilibecome.com. And you can just Google my name, Darren Jacklin or Sir Darren Jacklin. And if you want to spend time with me, my team and I decline a lot of breakfast, lunches, and dinners and coffee shop meetings. And we say, if you want to spend time with me, come on a hiking trail with me. That's how you're going to get access to me. So if you want to meet with me outside of the consulting world of consulting me for time, then come out hiking with me. And you'll get a chance to meet me on the hiking trails, because I'm obsessed with hiking. So come out and support Link Foundation, Elevate to Educate at hikingfundraiser.com. And that's how you can learn more about me and get access to me as well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you again so much. I'm going to put links to all of your foundation's books and how to contact you in the comments below. So please reach out to Sir Darren Jacklin. Join us on the hike. We'd love to see you out there, and let's do some change for the good. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.